Welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel, everyone. Victor is the target of Jack and Diane's plot. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, even after joining forces with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, to eliminate Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, Jack Abbott, portrayed by Peter Bergman, and Diane Abbott, portrayed by Susan Walters, will continue to plot against him. Will Jack finally get the best of Victor? This partnership was suggested by Jack Abbott. Jack suggested this partnership to keep Kane from taking over either Jabot or Newman Enterprises. However, Kane wants Chancellor Enterprises as well. Jack doesn't want Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, to lose Chancellor. Jack will do anything to help Nikki, but Victor, not so much. Jack should not give Victor his support. Jack knows that Victor will turn on him in a heartbeat. Kane has already been asked by Victor to go after Jabot on his behalf so that they can work together. However, it seems that Kane isn't about to do what he was asked. Kane has plans to take down as well, and Jack believes only a united front will bring Kane at his own game. Diane Abbott suggests idea to Jack Abbott. Jack's plan to work with Victor does not please Diane. Diane thought Jack was crazy when he came up with this strategy. However, if they are going to do this, Diane wants to make sure that they get what they need out of it. Diane wants Victor to see that Victor has no right to look down on Jack in that way. Victor absolutely needs Jack to defeat him once. Nikki isn't happy with Victor's plan to turn on Jack once this is over. Nikki also prefers that Jill not be involved either. Victor does not want to hear Nikki's defense of Jack. Victor plans on showing Jack just who the better man is, and he is convinced that will never be Jack. Can Jack Abbott turn the tables on Victor Newman? Jack plans to show Victor that he is not as powerful as he would like to think. Victor is of the opinion that Jack does not merit his wealth because he did not work for it. Victor has always felt the same way about Jason Thompson's Billy Abbott. Jack knows that Billy is not going to get his head together until Victor is put in his place. Is Jack also involved in this for Billy? Jack and Diane may actually be able to pull this off if they put their heads together. Will Victor ultimately succumb to his own game? Is this the time that Victor has overestimated his power? Could Jack finally pull off something that his father would have done and finally put Victor in his place once and for all? Kyle uses Harrison to win Claire back. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, is spiraling right now. With Claire Newman, Haley Erin, recently dumping him, after all his lies, and her own pursuit of living her best single life, will Kyle be desperate enough to use his son to win back the girl of his dreams? Harrison Abbott and Claire Newman are close. The Young and the Restless spoilers remind fans that Claire and Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, are close. In fact, he's sort of the reason why Claire and Kyle started dating. But could he become the catalyst for their rekindling their relationship? Claire was taken to the Abbott mansion so Harrison could see her before she broke free from Kyle. Off the cusp of his Italy adventure, Harrison wanted to show off his Italian skills and see Claire, because he had missed her so much. Kyle Abbott is desperate. After the truth came out about his kiss with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, in Nice, Claire got the ick from Kyle. His desperate attempt to turn things around in their relationship, rather than face their issues head-on, only turned Claire off even more. Things got worse in the Kyle romance, to the point where she felt the need to end things, from his weak marriage proposal to his jealousy of her friendship with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. But what does this mean for Harrison? When he found out that his dad and his nanny were dating, he was overjoyed. Harrison adores Claire, and Kyle wouldn't ban her from seeing him. However, the reality is, he won't be seeing Claire as much as he used to now that she isn't with his dad anymore. Could Kyle use Harrison's sadness as a ploy to win Claire back? Could he almost manipulate his son into being devastated over this news? Harrison has always been a happy child, so even though he will be sad, he won't be too sad if he is reassured correctly. But, if he is poked at, Harrison could reel. Will Kyle use Harrison to try to spend more time with Claire? Will Harrison reunite Claire and Kyle? Comment below. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out this site often for the best Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, and news. Claire's rebound sparks drama as Holden makes his move. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Claire Newman, Haley Erin, still loves Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. But she's desperately trying to distract herself from that deep feeling, and Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, provides an easy out. Claire's upbringing with a notorious criminal rival's Holden's murky past. Claire's, Colleen Zenk, kidnapping and deliberate brainwashing by Jordan Howard were intended to end the lives of the Newman family. In contrast, it is thought that when Holden and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, lived in Los Angeles, California, they had illicit relationships. The gradual flirtation moves to the next level when Claire agrees to go to Los Angeles with Holden. Viewers recall that Claire didn't believe Holden was romantically interested in her until he recently acknowledged that it was true. The rift was caused by Kyle Abbott's lack of control. Kyle never loved Audra. They were briefly involved when Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, started putting Kyle through tests. Kyle and Audra got nothing out of the Glissade adventure. Their transactional personal connection left no initial impression on Kyle, but Audra was smitten. She continued her quest for vengeance after feeling despised and ignored. The Mustache has discovered significant negative outcomes that have pushed Erin's character to another man, even though Victor did not witness Kyle cheating on Claire. Victor doesn't appear to be aware that Holden has always been working for Billy Flynn's Kane Ashby, which will undoubtedly have an effect on Claire. Daughter West follows Victoria Newman. Amelia Heinley plays Victoria Newman, who has lost one of her loves, Cole Howard, J. Edward Peck. Viewers are apparently being asked to believe that a somewhat significant amount of time has passed since Cole died because the grief period Victoria and Claire experienced moved quickly. However, that is soap in this instance. Claire is someone whom Victoria and Cole never thought they would see again on this earth. It was believed that their daughter, whom they dubbed Eve Nicole Howard, died shortly after her birth due to Jordan's ruthless manipulation. Victoria's maternal instinct would undoubtedly remain elevated indefinitely given that Claire did not have many natural life experiences and Cole was no longer around. So, her follow-up with Claire to LA makes sense. A separate storyline mystery that has been teased and will take place this fall also needs to be set up. Holden Novak wants a new beginning. It is possible for 2 points to be true simultaneously without being parallel. Holden did live a less than honorable life before he came to Genoa City, Wisconsin, and he is trying to make a fresh start now. Claire is someone who caught Holden's eye instantly. He has come to take care of her, he was there for her when Cole died, and he hasn't broken any moral rules while Claire has been with Kyle. However, Claire is giving Holden permission, and he is following her lead. With Kyle back in GC, Holden will become the man Claire considers as his replacement while they are in LA, and maybe after they return home. Everything related to The Young and the Restless can be found on this website, which is a leading resource. Check back regularly for Y&R spoilers and news. Victor is being targeted by Jack and Diane. Jack Abbott and Victor Newman, the show's most famous rival, are back in the spotlight once more. This time, however, Jack isn't going in alone, so the stakes are even higher. He has Diane by his side, and together they are plotting a move that could change the entire power structure of Genoa City. The central spoiler reveals that Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, will conspire against Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, despite having agreed to temporarily join forces with him to combat the shared threat of Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. The fact that Jack was the one who initially formed the partnership with Victor is what makes this arrangement so delightfully ironic. To stop Kane from swooping in and destroying not only Jabot but also Newman Enterprises and Chancellor Winters, he thought it was a necessary evil, a truce with the devil. Under the guise of safeguarding Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and the Chancellor legacy, Jack defended his strategy, but Jack knew deep down that he never intended for this alliance with Victor to last. The underlying reality is that Jack has always understood Victor's ruthless nature. He is aware that Victor would never hesitate to oppose him whenever it became convenient. Jack's reasoning comes across as noble on the surface. He positions himself as the only one willing to stand up to Kane's corporate takeover because he doesn't want Nikki to lose Chancellor. However, Victor's previous encouragement to Kane to attack Jabot makes this dynamic even more complicated, demonstrating that the partnership was never based on trust. Jack is fully aware of this past and is aware that teaming up with Victor puts him in jeopardy. However, his determination to defeat Victor at his own game is fueled by his pride as an Abbott. Jack has always longed for that one shining moment where he could outmaneuver the Mustache, proving once and for all that the Abbott name can triumph over Newman. Diane, on the other hand, immediately recognizes the absurdity of this alliance. Diane believes that Jack is engaging in a perilous game. She believes that he shouldn't have ever offered to work with Victor in the first place. She thinks it's desperate and sets them up for being betrayed. Diane, on the other hand, is determined to ensure that they have their own leverage if Jack continues down this path. She wants their partnership with Victor to be a transactional one in which they get every benefit they can before the house of cards falls apart. Diane, who is still trying to fully establish her position as Jack's equal and the Abbott family's matriarch, sees this as an opportunity to assert their power and convince Victor of Jack's worth. Victor has denigrated Jack for decades, describing him as weak, unworthy, or just a caretaker of his father's legacy. Diane would give anything to see Victor humbled, even if only for a moment. However, Nikki, as usual, is caught in the middle. Nikki isn't blind to Victor's arrogance, nor is she unsympathetic to Jack. She even expresses her disapproval because she is aware that her husband has every intention of betraying Jack once Kane is neutralized. However, Victor won't listen. This has always been personal for Victor. He can't stand the thought of Jack winning while he fails and Jack standing tall. Victor's preoccupation with demonstrating his superiority has previously blinded him, but could this be the moment when he finally makes a mistake? Could Jack and Diane actually devise a devious trap that Victor Newman does not anticipate? This is the suspense that drives this storyline, whether Jack's vengeance will finally resemble the brutality of his late father, John Abbott, and put Victor in a vulnerable position that he has fought against for decades. Kyle uses Harrison to win Claire back. The younger generation is entangled in just as much drama as the Titans of Genoa City are, though theirs is entangled with love, lies, and family ties. After being dumped by Claire Newman, Haley Erin, Kyle Abbott, Michael Miller, is spiraling out of control. Claire decided to get out of his lies and insecure behavior and concentrate on her own happiness. Yet Kyle is far from ready to let her go. His desperation to win her back may lead him down a questionable and manipulative path using his son, Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, as emotional leverage. The history between Claire and Harrison is a crucial element here. In many ways, Harrison was the bridge that connected Claire and Kyle in the first place. Claire bonded quickly with the young boy, becoming a source of warmth and stability in his life. Harrison, still innocent and emotionally attached after Kyle's breakup, deeply misses Claire. Harrison rushed to see Claire as soon as he got back from his trip to Italy to show off his new Italian vocabulary and hug the woman he loved. This bond is pure, but Kyle may see it as a weapon. He is aware that Claire has a special place in her heart for Harrison, and he could take advantage of their bond to get more time together. Kyle's behavior has already cost him dearly. A man out of control was depicted by his disastrous kiss with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, his failed proposal, and his jealousy of Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. Claire, already wary of Kyle's immaturity, saw all these as red flags. Instead of addressing their issues head-on, Kyle tried to gloss over them with grand gestures that rang hollow. Claire ultimately decided to leave due to that failure. Yet, Kyle's desperation to cling to her may blind him to the morality of his next moves. Could he encourage Harrison to act out his sadness in order to guilt Claire back into the relationship? Could he deliberately amplify his son's devastation just to make Claire feel compelled to reunite? Kyle is in a morally ambiguous situation here. He loves Claire and doesn't want to lose her, on the one hand. However, it is a risky path for him to manipulate his child's emotions for romantic gain. Harrison, who is naturally laid back, might not be as upset as Kyle wants to portray. However, children are impressionable, and Harrison may truly spiral if Kyle sows despair. In that case, Claire will be forced to surround herself with comfort for him. Whether Claire sees through Kyle's scheme or not will determine whether this is the beginning of a reunion or the final nail in their relationship's coffin. As Holden moves, Claire's rebound causes drama. As Kyle schemes in Genoa City, Claire has already shifted her attention elsewhere. Though she still harbors feelings for Kyle, she's determined to distract herself and move forward. Nathan Owens' Holden Novak appears. Claire's connection with Holden has been simmering for months, But it now takes a significant turn as she agrees to accompany him to Los Angeles. This is more than just a trip for Claire, it's an escape. She wants to give herself a chance to breathe and get away from Kyle's drama. Holden, with his charm and mysterious past, offers her an outlet, a rebound that could quickly become something more. Holden's past, though sketchy, doesn't carry the same dark weight as Claire's own. Raised under Jordan Howard's, Colleen Zenk, manipulation, Claire was brainwashed into nearly destroying her own family. Holden's shady dealings with Audra Charles in Los Angeles pale in comparison. Claire sees Holden as someone who, despite his flaws, provides her with a chance to redefine herself outside the Newman name and her troubled past. Their slow flirtation has been carefully built, but now Holden makes his intentions clear: he wants Claire. Naturally, Kyle is the only one to blame. His involvement with Audra and his lack of emotional control pushed Claire into Holden's orbit. The irony is that Victor, who initially tested Kyle's loyalty through the Glissade mess, inadvertently helped nudge Claire toward Holden. This triangle is about more than just love, it also talks about betrayal, insecurity, and the consequences of making poor decisions. But Claire's journey is not just romantic. Her mother, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, continues to hover protectively, especially after the loss of Cole Howard, J. Edward Peck. Victoria, having already grieved deeply, clings to Claire as her living connection to the past. Following her daughter to Los Angeles, Victoria remains wary of Holden's intentions and protective of Claire's fragile heart. This creates tension. Claire wants independence, while Victoria can't let go. Their mother-daughter bond, still relatively new after years apart, is tested in ways that will shape their future. Holden, meanwhile, is not entirely what he seems. While he genuinely wants a fresh start, his ties to Kane Ashby could complicate everything. Claire is unwittingly falling for yet another trap if he is secretly working for Kane. What she sees as a rebound may in fact be a betrayal that once more shakes her world. For Kyle, this creates a ticking clock. If he wants Claire back, he must act quickly, but the more desperate he becomes, the more likely he is to push her further into Holden's arms.